and outwit people and be a superior, calm warrior and outthink them and get to that top of the mountain. It's the greatest feeling in the world. That's what I call tactical hell. You're in hell. You can never know what to do because you're constantly reacting to what everybody is doing around you. Going up a little bit further, you're now a tactician. You're able to get out of tactical hell. You'll be able to think a little bit better. Going halfway up, you're a strategist. You're able to make better plans. Reach the top of the mountain, you're a grand strategist. This book is about how to attain that level of grand strategy. So you're seeing the entire picture. So you have clarity. So you're not continually reacting to everything that's going on around you on the battlefield. To be able to attain that level of serenity and looking at the world, you have to... This is my third book, The 33 Strategies of War, which came out in 2005. And I want to emphasize that even though it's called The Strategies of War, it's not really about war in the general sense. It's about dealing with conflict in your life and becoming a superior strategist. Because all of life involves conflict, involves friction, involves disagreement with other people, and involves being a strategist. So that's what the book is really about, is mastering the art of thinking strategically. And to sort of give you an idea, I like to use a metaphor for this. Let's say that life is a battlefield, that in your day-to-day affairs, just imagine that you're carrying a sword or a rifle, and there's a lot of smoke and blood and screaming going on. People are yelling, they're panicking, there's all this confusion going on, all these things people are asking you to do, all these emails piling up, etc., etc. This is the battlefield around you, and it's very confusing. And there's a lot of fog involved, and you don't know what's up or down or what you should be doing the next day or whatever, okay? But next to you, next to the battlefield is a mountain. If you climb a few hundred feet above and you look down on the battlefield, suddenly things look a little bit differently. It's not so confusing. You're beginning to see where the enemy lies, where your own allies lie, the lay of the land. You have a little bit of a sense of it. You can be a little more tactical as opposed to reacting to everything. Go up another 500 feet or 500 yards, and suddenly things begin to clear. You're seeing a wider vista. What you thought earlier on was the lay of the land, actually no, it's a little bit more like this. Go up higher, things look quite different. Reach the top of the mountain, you have a 360-degree view of the whole lay of the land, and suddenly you have immense clarity about what exactly is going on and what's going to be happening in the future. That is the realm of the gods on Mount Olympus. Perfect clarity about the world, okay? So when you're on that battlefield fighting people and its phones are ringing and all this other crap is going on, it's bloody, that's what I call tactical hell. You're in hell. You can never know what to do because you're constantly reacting to what everybody is doing around you. Going up a little bit further, you're now a tactician. You're able to get out of tactical hell. You'll be able to think a little bit better. Going halfway up, you're a strategist. You're able to make better plans. Reach the top of the mountain, you're a grand strategist. This book is about how to attain that level of grand strategy. So you're seeing the entire picture. So you have clarity. So you're not continually reacting to everything that's going on around you on the battlefield. To be able to attain that level of serenity and looking at the world, you have to first control yourself. So the first part about the strategies of war is not about dealing with people or coming up with battle plans, etc. It's about how to deal with yourself. You're at war with your own stupidity. You're at war with your own irrationality. You're at war with your own tendency to constantly react. You're overcoming that. You're trying to deal with your presence of mind so that you can handle stressful situations. You're trying to think in the moment so you're not locked in the past and always applying the strategies of yesterday to the world today. You have a sense of urgency and energy, etc., etc. The book is about how to do war on yourself and make yourself better prepared to climb up that mountain and get to the top, right? Then I explain how to deal with people on your team, how to understand how to motivate those on your team, etc., how to deal with the friction that comes constantly up, and how to place yourself, how to think ahead into the future. When you're coming with a plan of action, let's say it's a business, or let's say it's your career, etc., your tendency is to think in these relatively small chunks. You're thinking, well, in 6 months I'm going to do this, and I have a plan ahead. Great, okay. But the game is to think much further ahead. Begin with the following process. Begin, in 5 years, this is where I want to be. I may be only 25, but when I'm 30, I want to have accomplished this. I want to have this podcast. I want to have this business, etc. All right? Now you work backwards and you go, how do I get there step by step by step? How do I get there in 3 years? How do I get there in 1 year? What do I need to do next week to start the process? What do I need to do today to be able to get to where I want to be in a week, etc.? Now that might all sound kind of boring and rigid, but actually strategy is a game of flexibility where you're not tied to a linear set of advancing. It's simply that you have a better sense of your goals, your direction that you want to head in. So you're not just kind of floundering and doing all of these things during the course of a day that aren't important. If you know where you want to be in 5 years, then where you are today, right? It doesn't seem so aimless, so directionless. You know what matters. You know how to prioritize. You know that this little piddly political fight with this colleague is so unimportant when in light of that 5-year plan, that you just dump them in the trash can. You go, I have nothing to do with that. It's not important enough for me. It gives you a sense of priorities of what really matters in terms of your long-term goals. Being able to strategize and outwit people and be a superior, calm warrior and outthink them and get to that top of the mountain, it's the greatest feeling in the world, right? There's nothing that can bother you anymore. And so that's what the book is really about. I use stories of warfare to illustrate them because they're so fascinating and the history of warfare is so rich and exciting. But strategy is a form of thinking. And whether you're a general fighting the devilish army of Russia in Ukraine right now, or whether you're dealing with the less bloody events in your business, I don't mean to equal the two because one is a lot more serious, so don't get me wrong there. But it's the same process of thinking ahead, of not getting caught up in the day-to-day affairs, of not thinking that just simply pushing people is the way to get what you want. And in fact, going around the side, manœuvre sur les derrière, or a flanking maneuver, as Napoleon called it, is more powerful than pushing people directly. So it's a book with rich ideas about strategies, about how to get to that level where you're thinking ahead and outthinking of people and operating on a much higher level.
لا تنسى الاشتراك في القناة ليصلك كل جديد.